when a woman decided that they want to go make a police report, that is a very, very big step they're taking. But imagine going to a police station and then the police say, it's a small matter, ini hal keluarga je, whatever. Just imagine that, Many survivors, when they first talk about the problem that they face, there are many people that maybe don't even believe them or trust them. Our mission is to end violence against women and to advocate for gender equality. Once we reach this mission, hopefully we don't have to be around anymore. Unfortunately, at the moment, we are still working towards this.
Yep.
So if anyone thinks that we shouldn't exist anymore, please know that we are working towards that.
Welcome to another episode of Life Confessions. Another stellar guest joins us. This time, we have the Executive Director from the Women's Aid Organization, Nazreen Nizam, with us. Thank you so much for joining us, Nazreen.
Thank you for having me here.
We are very excited because we know there's a lot for you to share as well and to learn about you yourself. Let's start with, is there a belief or value that you've held since you were young that still anchors you in this work today? I mean, you're still young actually, but since you were younger,
Still young.
yes, you're still young, that actually anchors you to the work that you do today. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I have to choose like one core belief, right, I would say is the principle of equality,
Right.
which I feel like anchors me, and because of that value that I hold very closely to my heart,
Yeah.
that I still continue the work that I do,
Hmm.
So when I talk about principle of equality, this means like how everyone deserve respect, everyone deserve dignity, and also justice, regardless of their gender, regardless of their race, regardless of their socio-economic background. Because I feel like over the years I have witnessed like whether it's a subtle type of discrimination or overt type of discrimination. This is like, through the work that I do, right?
Right.
That kind of put a sense of, how do I say this, like compassion, sense of fairness. What is compassion? What is fairness? That I feel that this is one thing that is very, very important.
Because now, while you're the Executive Director at the Women's Aid Organization, you said you started your work with Sisters in Islam. You've also worked with multiple other organizations, right?
Correct.
Yellow House, Tenaga Nita.
Yes, for Yellow House, I was volunteering there, so I was not working there, but I work with SIS, then with Tenaga Nita, and I work with Engage Media. Engage Media is basically a regional organization that work with marginalized community to teach them how to like document their life stories.
Right.
Rather than we as the NGO people that document their story, we give them like equipments like videos and recording equipments and stuff so that they can make stories about their journey.
Wow.
Yeah. And I also work with this another organization called KAMSA, which is a short for Coalition to Abolish Modern Slavery in Asia. So that is on human trafficking cases, because we know we have human trafficking, a lot of human trafficking cases in Malaysia as well, unfortunately.
You have so many varied avenues that you want to make a difference in, but you've landed now in Women's Aid Organization for six years or more?
Yeah, now 6 years.
So what made this where you're at now? What led to this position?
So I actually let me think about it. 2014, I left Malaysia for a bit. I went traveling
Right.
with my partner, and we went to different countries and end up in Brazil for like about
Nice.
3 years. So I mean, when I was
3
traveling,
years in Brazil.
correct.
Oh, I thought the whole journey was 3 years. No, it was 3 years in Brazil.
No,
Okay.
no, yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, like, yeah, we were semi-settling in Brazil, but we were traveling around the continents at that time. So when I but when I was away, definitely I was still involved in some sort of activism work, even with a feminist organization there and stuff like that, But then I felt at some point, and I felt like, no, I want to come back because, yeah lah, I mean, it's like tagging me lah, working on issues on women's rights and gender equality is like very important, So when I was involved with the movement there, it makes me feel that I want to come back to my own country and continue the work here. You know what I mean? So then when I decided to come back, you see, the activism circle is not very big. You see?
Everyone knows everyone.
Mostly everyone knows everyone. So when when my friends knew that I'm back and I'm looking for a job, so then there was an opening at WAO at that time,
Right.
for capacity building coordinator.
Okay.
So from my background with doing grassroots training with community development, so I was very interested in the position. So then that's why I came in and I joined WAO as the capacity building coordinator,
Right.
managing mostly grassroots trainings.
Interesting.
Outreach. When we say grassroots, we work with B40 communities.
And you went to the ground. You were on ground, and you were actually
correct.
the face
Right.
at WAO when
I
reaching out.
mean, it's not just me. It's my team.
Right.
It's a capacity building team. So we are basically the training wing of Women's Aid Organization, right? So in WAO, we have different departments. We have the advocacy department that look at policy reform, looking at the implementation of the laws, the enforcement, monitoring the enforcement and all these things.
Right.
And then we have the services department. Services department are, basically the departments where we have the social workers, we have the shelter officers. They are the one that work closely with the survivors.
Right.
Like managing the helpline and managing
Like the
the shelters.
frontline.
Yes, correct. Like our frontliners.
Yeah.
And then we have the capacity building team, which the team that doing the trainings.
Right.
The outreach, the public education, So the training was with grassroots, with government agencies, with corporations, with university students, schools,
And that's where you began.
That's where I start because of my background of doing trainings, right? So from there, then I become the capacity building director. And now I'm the executive director of Women's Aid Organization.
Wow. And in the position that you're at now, right? You've already seen some changes happen in the work that you do. In fact, in April 2025, you saw 160 hotline calls and 539 Tina SMS WhatsApp messages, right? What trends are emerging and needs are you observing among the hotline users when they call in? Is there something that comes up more frequently than others, the issues?
Okay, so most of our calls are really on domestic violence cases and also gender-based violence lah. It can be like either rape or sexual harassment and everything. But one trend, if I can say that, I mean, like one type of cases that we start receiving more these days are online gender-based violence. Like digital abuse, online abuse, whether it's like harassment, technology facilitated stalking and harassment. These are the type of cases that we're getting more. I guess because this is reflecting our society at the moment, right? That we
Yeah.
are very, even our younger generation, like, engagement with the phone more. So these are the issues that I feel very, very important now to like talk about. So even in WAO, we did we have a module on online gender-based violence now, and we talk about this with our with our younger participants, because like what I mentioned just now, we do have like training and session at schools and universities.
Do you find that more of the calls and messages that you get are coming from younger women?
For online abuse, yes, but otherwise, it not necessarily from younger women. It's maybe between. I mean, I don't really have like the statistic on top of my head now, but I would say like between 25 to even 45. But we do have cases where 60-year-old women call us because of domestic violence issue.
Right.
Even as old as 70 over.
Wow. Which is exactly why it's so important that WAO exists.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some people will still make that claim that we've progressed so far. Do we still need people to advocate for women? Of course we do.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your answer to people who say that?
I mean, I hope their wish come true. I do wish one day there's no need for the women's aid organization to exist. Because I feel as an NGO, our main end goal should be that we don't need to exist anymore.
Your end goal is to put yourself out of a job.
Correct. That should be it, because like our mission is to end violence against women and to advocate for gender equality. Once we reach this mission, then hopefully we don't have to be around anymore. No one would need our assistance or our support for their case management. No one would need a shelter. That is amazing. But unfortunately, at the moment, we are still working towards this. So if anyone thinks that we shouldn't exist anymore, please know that we are working towards that. Working
you want that to be the
not
reality.
existing anymore. Definitely.
How is WAO embedding trauma-informed care into frontline services and volunteer training programs?
Okay, so when we talk about trauma-informed care, or in WAO, we also call it survivor-centric approach.
Okay.
This is foundational to our practice, because at WAO, we always make sure that survivor is at the center of all the work that we do. Because there's no point, right? You're NGO, you do workshop sendiri only. It's not guided by the lived realities of the women. Then what is the point? So the main thing is they have to be at the center, and everything that you do have to be guided by them, by the survivors, right? So when you talk about trauma-informed care, we make sure that our staff, our volunteers, they are trained to understand about survivors agencies. Making sure that the place is, where the shelter is. I mean, like even though they're survivors, they still deserve life with dignity. Do you know what I mean? They still have agency to make decision. We, as the NGO people, as the activists, as the social workers, can guide them. We give them options, but no matter what, we need to respect their decision, right? We give them option A, option B, option C. This is what you can do. If you do this, this is this. If you do B, this is this. Because at the end of the day, we must remember that it is their life. If we kind of like tell them what to do, no, you should do this. But after that, we go back and continue with the comfort of our life, and it's them that gonna have to face it.
Right.
So even though there are certain decisions that we feel that maybe they should not make this decision, You know, sometimes it's very difficult, right?
Right.
You know, especially when you work directly with survivor and they make certain decision that we feel that, okay, I'm not sure whether this is the right decision for you.
Because if you put yourself in their shoes, you would think that you would choose differently.
Exactly, you know.
Yeah.
But if they make that decision that we feel that, okay, maybe this is dangerous and everything, we can advise them.
Right.
We can advise them.
Right.
But if they still choose to make that decision, for example, if they choose to make a decision to go back to the perpetrator, right? We have many times when this happen, right? But because then we as the service provider, we need to understand as well where that decision coming from. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Wow, that's hard.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, there's a compounded level, right? A different level. The barriers that a woman face when they make certain decision, we need to understand where it's coming from. So what we can do is to, you know, do safety planning with them, and then make sure that they know we are still here, lah.
Yeah.
You know, if they need to come back to us, they need to like call us again.
Yeah.
They shouldn't feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
Because we should not judge them. If they feel that we are judging them, then next time if something happens, they're not going to come back to us.
Right.
And that's like even more dangerous, right?
Yeah.
So
if they feel that they don't have anywhere. to turn to
yes,
after
betul.
this.
So then they need to feel safe, and they need to know that, okay, if I call them back, they're not going to judge me.
Yeah.
They will still help me, you know?
That is so difficult because you want the person who is going through their struggle to make as informed a decision as they can. So you will provide the information
Yes,
that they
definitely.
need, but you don't want to make the decision from them because you don't want to take away that agency.
Yes, definitely.
Because
Cannot.
a person might already feel powerless.
Correct. Because see, when they make a decision to call us, that is the first decision that they make, right? That they want to call WAO because they feel that they need help now.
That's a big step already.
That is a very, very big step already. This is why I feel that you know, the crisis support officer that answer the calls, they need to be very, very sensitive with how they respond to that first call.
Yeah,
you know,
the
because
first person that's making contact.
exactly, because it can either help them or break them lah, you know, if you don't give the right response. Similarly, like, this is how I feel that government agencies, frontliners, they play a very, very important role. When a woman decided that they want to go make a police report, that is a very, very big step they're taking. But imagine going to a police station and then the police said, alah, ni benda kecil ni, you know, it's a small matter, ini hal keluarga je, balik, you know, selesaikan, whatever. Just imagine that, you know, how it will break a woman's spirit that they go out and they thought that they can get help from these people that's supposed to help them, and the you know, the frontliner officer saying that to them, you know,
like summoning all that courage to make that next step, and then in some cases to be told that everything that you're feeling isn't as important or as urgent as you think, which happens frequently.
I mean, yes, the thing is, of course, police have certain process that they need to adhere to, right? They have to do the investigation and all this kind of thing. They cannot just believe. Yeah, which I totally understand, which I totally respect.
Yeah.
But it's just the manner of how you taking the reporting. You know, that's all that's what we are saying when we talk about being gender sensitive.
Right.
You
How
know?
you communicate.
How you communicate. You know, when what you mentioned just now about trauma informed care. I guess frontliner, you know, government agencies, frontliners also need to understand this.
Yeah.
Right? About being mindful about how you speak to survivors.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because when the person makes the first step, in order for them to continue with step 2, 3, and 4, it's how they are received upon making that
Definitely.
first step. Yeah.
Because for us, and like for example, whether we are the social workers or we are the police or we are the nurse at the one-stop crisis center, you know, or JKM officer, for us, maybe we have managed this type of cases million of times.
Yeah.
hundred of times.
Yeah.
But for them, this is their first experience.
Yeah.
So that's why we need to always be mindful about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's why it's so important to remind people of this as well. You know, WAO was instrumental in the Make Stalking a Crime campaign, hashtag Make Stalking a Crime.
Yeah.
And saw its success actually in 2023
Right.
when it was made into law.
Yeah, amazing, right?
Right? That's amazing. What remains on your agenda to strengthen enforcement and public awareness when it comes to even stalking? Because this is still, even though it's a law, that doesn't mean it has stopped perpetrators.
Yeah. I mean, just like any other law, it's amazing that we have laws, but enforcement is very, very important.
Yeah.
And sometimes that is what lacking, right? So at WAO, we continuously doing, advocacy work to monitor the implementation of the law. We continue our public awareness campaign, public awareness training, workshop to educate people, or share information with others about what is stalking,
Right.
what is harassment. Because sometimes the issue is people may not know, that this is what stalking means.
Yes, they may feel uncomfortable.
Correct.
And not even know that this is the thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Not just stalking, even with other type of,
Right.
For example, harassment. What is sexual harassment? What is domestic violence? So sometimes people do not know. In Malaysia, we have all these laws, but if people do not know that we have these laws or what it constitutes, then what is the point, right? And then having, as I said, like having the laws, but if there's no enforcement or lack of enforcement, then again, what is the point lah? So we need to make sure that we keep talking about it.
Yeah.
It's amazing now that there is a recourse that they can redress that they can get.
An actual law.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So more people need to know about it, and hopefully we can build their capacity to know how to respond when things like this happen to them.
Have you seen the changes in people's knowledge and their ability to advocate for themselves?
This is why I feel that now we also getting more calls that,
Right.
like what I said just now, kan? Definitely we get all the other calls, the domestic violence, gender-based violence, but there's this online abuse and online stalking, online harassment. People are more aware about it because they know this is not acceptable.
At WAO, you've also emphasized the importance of intersectional policy. What unique challenges do women from rural, low-income, or diverse identity backgrounds face, and how is WAO responding to that?
Yeah. So intersectionality is very, very important. See, women from marginalized community, they face compounded barriers, right? Whether it's systemic neglect, whether it's digital exclusion, right? Because sometimes
No
we think,
access.
no access. Because for us, we feel oh my God, is it possible no one have access to
The internet?
Facebook these days or thingy? But there are women from communities that from a certain group that do not have this access. So it's very important for us to be aware of this intersectionality. Not one woman who's facing violence, domestic violence, are not all of them come from a similar background and facing similar issues.
No one's exactly the same.
No one is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Same but different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's very important for us at WAO to be mindful about this intersectionality of all the women that we work with, all the women that we engage with,
Right.
and for us to kind of take the right steps, especially when we managing either cases
Right.
or also communities, So for example, if let's say we go on the ground to work with a certain a group of communities, we always make sure that we work with the grassroots organization from that community,
Right.
so that we can be, because there are certain things that we maybe not know, right? For example, we are from Kuala Lumpur, and now if we want to go and work with a group of women in Kelantan,
Yep.
we cannot be just like, these women activists, feminists from KL coming here, want to talk about all these issues and stuff like that. But we need to also be sensitive to to whatever
The
is
needs of that person, the
whatever
situation
is
that
the
they're at.
situation the communities are in there,
To better understand intersectional policy is like knowing that a person who is going through, let's say, for example, domestic violence. I'm trying to get a better idea.
Okay.
If I'm incorrect, please correct me.
Yeah.
So it's not every person who goes through domestic violence is just dealing with that one issue. For example, it might be a person who's going through domestic violence and she comes from a rural community and she comes from, let's say, a culture that may see it as their right to be able to treat a woman a certain way, and all these layers of the situation that she's going through needs to be understood before you can actually suggest even a way to help her.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
So it's very important for us to be mindful. Okay, so a woman so when we talk about intersectionality, there are many aspects that we need to look at, right? It can be the race, it can be class, it can be religion, it can be the language that she speaks,
Right.
it can be the skin color, it can be the disability,
Right.
right? So there are many level, right? So for us to be aware of the to understand that this concept of intersectionality, so then we can do a little, how do I say, a tailored intervention.
Right.
It's not one size fits all.
Yeah.
Tailored intervention for the survivors. For example, this, let's say, is our clients or even communities that we work with, right? So that we, again, I use the word mindful because I think this is very important. Because I really do not like sometimes when NGO or activists have this savior complex.
Okay.
You know
Like
what I
coming
mean?
in like a wrecking
we are
ball.
coming and we are going to come here now to help you. I'm a bit uncomfortable with that type of concept.
Right. You've seen
When
this happen.
it happens,
Right.
When we go down to community, we must always go down with humility, that for us to assist them, we also need to learn from them.
Right.
The reason we exist, the organization, Women's Aid Organization or whatever other NGO, the reason we exist is because of the community or because of the clients that we work with.
Yeah.
If they are not there, who are we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So we must always learn from them.
Right.
From the survivors, from the clients that come to us. We need to learn from them. What is it that they need?
Right.
If a client a domestic violence clients reach out to us, come to our shelter, we need to know from them, how can we assist you? Like, what do you need? How can things be better?
Right.
Because all this information is how then we will gather it, we will record it, we will document it, and then when we go and meet, whether it's a ministry, or the government agencies, then we need to basically share that information.
Right. So to go in there willing to learn about the person who is going through that struggle, whatever that struggle might be, that from the woman who is dealing with her situation, instead of, like you said, a person going in like with that hero complex and that savior complex going in, listen to me, do this and you will be saved. So it's learning instead of just demanding a person
it has
change.
to be two-way. Of course, we are not going empty-handed also lah, right? We going with information. that we can share with them. Okay, like, okay, how do you, if like say this violence happened to you, how can you respond to it? How can you first maybe recognize what is violence? Because sometimes people do not even recognize, right?
Yep.
That I'm actually being abused. Because we must remember violence is not only physical. Violence can also be emotional, psychological, social, financial, different type of violence. Recognize first, and then how you respond to it. And then where do you refer? Where do you go? If like say something happened to you or to anyone in your surrounding, in your neighborhood, your neighborhood, like how does it, where do you go?
Yeah.
Right? So that is very, very important,
So
right?
it's also important for us to be able to give someone else information. Like if a person who's not going through it, is if we have information that we've got from you, then we can help someone who is dealing with it.
Definitely. See, when we talk about violence against women, it's not just that women's problem.
Yeah.
It is a community problem. It is a society problem. It is affecting all of us, So that's why I feel that when we talk about violence against women, even men need to enter the conversation, join the conversation.
Are enough men, like, do you find that men now are more receptive to the message that you are trying to get out there?
I am hopeful. I do see there's some progress, because I absolutely believe that men play a very important role as well to end violence against women. Because who are the perpetrator mostly?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So most of the perpetrator are men.
Yeah.
Where, I'm not saying that violence only happened to women. I understand violence also happened to men. Domestic violence, gender-based violence, it does happen to men. But most of the perpetrator in this situation are men. Some of the violence that happen to men also perpetrated by men.
Right.
So why this happened, I feel, is because it's how men in our society being conditioned to behave in a certain way. Like how men understand what is masculinity. Not just men, how women also understand masculinity. When we talk about patriarchy or patriarchal values in the society, it does not just affect women, it also affects men. Because men are being taught, okay, as a man, this is how you should be.
This is what a man is.
This is what man is. You have to be strong. You cannot show emotion. You are the breadwinner. All these things. So we definitely need to have this conversation so that men can also go through a gender transformative, behavior change.
Renaissance.
Yes. Behavior change, attitude change, So for all this to change, men, women, non-binary, everyone, the society,
Because of the way we've been taught to think.
the way that we are being conditioned when we talk about gender roles. What is the roles of women? What is the roles? From young we are being taught this. So we need to smash all these things,
Really take a hard look at it, huh?
Definitely, because all these things is something that is constructed by the society. Like when we talk about culture, we talk about, because people say, this is like culturally is like this. But where does this come from? Where is this culture come from? It's from us, right?
And culture changes all the time.
Correct. If we created it, if we construct it, we can deconstruct it and reconstruct it.
Yeah, what works best.
Absolutely.
One of the issues that WAO deals with, you've mentioned, is actually domestic violence. What does justice really look like for a survivor of domestic violence? And is our current system even capable of delivering that justice?
Okay, so I feel that justice is not just it's not just related to like the legal redress, right? Like
how can you punish the perpetrator?
Correct. It's not just that. Of course, that is also important, but also everything else, like validation. Because sometimes we need to understand, like many survivors, like when they first talk about the problem that they face, maybe not, there are many people that maybe don't even believe them
Right.
or trust them, right? So I feel that is important also. And the societal acceptance, that is also important for survivors.
Right.
And I feel like for them to get economic justice is also important, because you see, when, like just now when we have the conversation about women choose to go back to the perpetrator,
Yeah.
many times this is because they are not financially independent.
Right. They have no choice.
They have no choice.
They feel like they
They
have no
feel
choice.
that they have no choice.
And the reality is that in many cases,
yeah, because
there is no-
the
yeah.
reality is, in many cases, is women that will stay back at home to take care of the children when they start having children. When a couple start having children, how many men do we hear that say, okay, I'm gonna like stay at home now, you be the breadwinner?
Yeah.
Not many
Yeah, that's not the
people
situation
do
for
that,
most. Yeah.
So in reality, the mother will stay back,
Yeah.
and then they become dependent on their partner, their husband. And then when the situations, when there's a abusive situation in the household,
Yeah.
many times they gonna need to just bersabar, be patient, because where else am I gonna go?
Yeah.
Right? So they, apart from the, okay, where else I'm going to go? I'm not economically independent and stuff like that,
Yeah.
Maybe if they are financially independent, then they will feel that, okay, I can make a better decision for myself and my children,
Yeah.
So that's why in WAO also, like with our clients, right, we try our best to, when they are at our shelter, to provide them with some skills that they want,
Right.
so that when they decided to like leave the shelter and decided to start a new life with with their children, at least they can, sustain themselves without feeling that.
Give them an opportunity for more independence.
Correct.
Right. It's 2025 now, right? What does safety actually mean in 2025, and how does WAO redefine it in the context of, online abuse, economic precarity, and social surveillance? All these things, and taking into account what women are dealing with now. What does safety mean?
Means,
Yeah.
it's very difficult question, like what safety means.
Because you can be locked in a room,
Yeah.
and you can still be completely unsafe because that phone follows you into the room.
Yeah, exactly. So safety is not just physical, right? Safety, for me, I feel, it's like you need to, okay, of course, physically feel safe, but also emotionally feel safe, mentally also feel safe, right? And it's not just it's very difficult questions. You know what I mean? Like safety in terms of like you have the right to live, to
It's
be
part of
who
it.
you are.
Right. Yeah.
For me, that is also safety, right?
Yeah.
To be who you are, to be free,
Not to hide.
to be free to say what you want to say, and to know that you're safe saying it, to go to places that you want to go and know that you will be safe. Not like worry if I go out at 10 and then if I want to come back at 3 a.m. if I take the grab, would I like then, whether it's going to be safe or not safe, if I want to go to the pub alone, would it be safe?
So is the answer that there's just so much more work to be done?
Yeah, there's so many things to do, and that's why I say it's not just about one individual, it's not just about one person, It's actually a responsibility of the society, responsibility of the government, to make sure that everyone, regardless of their ethnicity, religion, race, gender, are safe in this country,
Would it be safe to suggest or to say that one way the average person can try to make a difference is to vote for a lawmaker that has the same beliefs as us when it comes to wanting a safer space for women.
Yeah, definitely. Because whether we like it or not, they are lawmakers lah. You know, they are policy makers. You know, if we vote someone who's misogynistic, someone who's sexist, then how are we going to ever achieve
Yeah.
gender equality
Yeah.
in this country? You know.
That's a strong message that you're still. The reason why it's a strong message is because it is so needed, even
Definitely.
years and years later, even to this day. You know, on a more personal note, doing this kind of work can really either harden people or soften them, you know? How has it changed you, and what has it taught you about yourself, having been in this space and in this your career has been one that has been long in this space, right?
I'm not sure whether it hardened me or softened me. I'm not sure about that. But it's definitely made me feel that it's very important work.
Yeah.
That still need to, you still need to continue doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's important.
It's very important,
Yeah,
you know.
necessary.
When I go on the ground, when I speak to whether the survivors or the communities that we work with and everything, it makes me feel stronger in my conviction that I need to still do this.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not saying doing this meaning like just in WAO.
Yeah.
WAO for me is a vehicle. My activism is my activism. You know what I mean? Whether I doing it in WAO or anywhere else,
Yeah.
that is another story lah.
Yeah.
But the activism is very important for me. You know, like fighting for justice, fighting for equality,
Yeah.
for liberty, for freedom.
Yeah.
It's very, very important for me.
So wherever you're at, that will still be the core of what you do.
Definitely, you know. And I absolutely, and the reason why I'm still in WAO, because I really, really believe in the cause of WAO. You know, it aligns with my values.
Yeah.
You know, and violence against women, advocate for gender equality.
Right.
You know, so definitely this is something that I will be doing until I don't know when, maybe until I
Forever.
die. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure many people hope that that is the case for you to continue doing it, because you've already affected so many people's lives and you've seen how you've changed the lives of other people around
So many
you.
people also affected my life.
Right.
You know, and so many peoples that I work with, whether the survivors or the communities, you know, that's why I say I feel privileged to be doing this. You know, I feel very privileged to learn from them.
Yeah.
You know, like all the people that I met across the years, whether they are my mentors or whether the women that came for consultation with me when I was in SIS, or the women that I met when I was working with Tenaga Nita at the plantation, or the human trafficking survivors, everyone, you know. So
Yeah.
all these stories, their stories, you know, that I carry in my heart,
Yeah.
the one that keep me going.
That's exactly why I think you're the right person to be where you're at, because this is how you feel and you get from what you give. We've come to the rapid fire question.
Oh God,
right now.
this is the one which I said is very, very difficult for me.
No, we tell all of our guests when it comes to rapid fire questions, this is your answer for this moment.
Yeah.
Like, it could change if you were asked the same question at another point in time. So at this point in time,
Yeah.
asking you this, right?
Yeah.
So less pressure. Okay, let's start with the first one. Name a woman leader you admire.
Okay, I always get this question, but it's so difficult
It can
for me
change.
to
So
answer.
for right now, yeah.
So I was thinking this morning, I wanted to say my mother and my mother-in-law. You know, because I feel that how they manage the family,
Yeah.
you know, regardless, like so many challenges that they face, but they still, you know, manage the children and their husband, you know. So I really admire that. So I'm gonna go with my mother and my mother-in-law.
Okay. Next, one thing people get wrong about advocacy work.
Yeah. So I feel that I think what people thought is like when you do I would say activism work lah. It's come from a place of anger.
Oh.
Because you're angry and that's why you're doing something. But I feel that it's actually come from a place of love and compassion. Because you care and you love, and that's why you do it.
Oh, that's definitely setting something straight. Yeah. What's your go-to stress reliever after a tough day?
Like continuing the good works of WAO, despite the challenges that we face,
Right.
for me is a good win lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you an early morning person or a late night thinker?
I'm in between.
Oh.
I'm an in-between person.
Okay. Tell us about what do you think is the most underrated quality in a leader, in your opinion?
I think humility. It's underrated because sometimes I feel like maybe people expect a leader to kind of know everything and,
Right.
must be confident or something, whatever. But I think humility is very important, humility to know that there are a lot of things that you don't know.
Right. Well, you're a leader. For you to say that definitely means it's true. And finally, this is a question we ask all of our guests. If you had the opportunity to make one change as Prime Minister of Malaysia for a
Oh my
day,
God.
what would it be and why?
Maybe if I'm the Prime Minister, I'd never want to be the Prime Minister. But if I'm a Prime Minister, maybe I will make it mandatory for all government officers or government agencies, all the ministries,
Right.
to go through comprehensive gender training so that the services, the policies that they come up with would be, more gender sensitive.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And more, it would include it would be more inclusive.
Correct. Definitely have to be more inclusive, need to be intersectional.
Right.
Yeah, that's very important.
Right. Right. That's beautifully said. Now let's see if the votes happen.
Never.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey.
Thank you for having me.
Both your work and your personal journey as well. Nazreen Nizam with us today, Executive Director of Women's Aid Organization. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you again in our next episode of Life Confessions.